Once again, good evening. We are continuing with our lessons on human resource management. We've done several aspects of human resource management. Yesterday, the last thing we did was to differentiate between recruitment and selection. There was a question, but time could not allow us to go through that question. So today I'll be starting with that question. It was asked in one of the years. The students were asked to outline and explain the selection procedure that the personnel manager, when you say personnel manager, now we are looking at human resource manager, would go through in recruiting 5 competent secretaries. And that is what, so today if you look at the overview of the lesson, we will look at that question. Then we also, based on that question, we look at tests, and then the types of tests that we have, then orientation, which is one of the steps in the recruitment process. Then we end with interview, the meaning, and then the objective of interview. So let's look at the question. The question is here. Is that the personnel manager of Good Luck is a capital Good Luck Company Limited wants to employ 5 competent secretaries. Now the question is, outline and explain the selection procedure. So the most important thing here is the selection procedure, and that's why it has been outlined. You won't expect him to follow. So he wants to employ 5 competent secretaries. What will be the selection procedure? We have talked about the recruitment process. We have talked about the difference between recruitment and then selection. But if you look at this question, they want to engage 5 competent secretaries. So what should he do? The same thing we did. So if you look at the suggested solution, the first thing is that they will have to prepare the job analysis. And you know what will go into it. What do they want? They want the job description, that the duties, the responsibilities, the various tasks that the secretaries will be performing. Remember that this question, it's like a case. Here, you need to use the secretaries to apply. So you are going to apply. So you pick the preparation of job analysis. What are the duties that a secretary will be performing? That will come out. What will be the various tasks that will comprise the duties? We have talked about the difference between tasks, duties, how tasks are combined to form duties, and the duties come together to give you your job. So as a teacher, we learned about my duties as a teacher and the tasks that I perform as a teacher. So you prepare the job analysis and know all those things. Then job specification will also come in here. As a secretary, what should be the academic qualifications they will expect of you? The experience, how many years you might have worked elsewhere. The skills they may expect from you, and so forth. So when that has been done, then the advertisement will come in. And you are not new to this. You went for adverts that have been placed in newspapers. So they will advertise in newspapers. That is the common one. It can also be on the radio. It can also be placed on notice board if it is internal recruitment. So advertisement for the job will be done. Then when advertisement has been done, potential applicants are going to apply for the job. So what is going to do, if they are going to do is that they are going to receive application letters. The moment the letters come, then there will be shortlisting of applicants. Yesterday I made this so simple for you. What is shortlisting? There was a year they asked the students, what is shortlisting? You know, yesterday I told you that the list is long. About 100 people have applied. And so you cannot call all of them for interview. That may not be economical. So what you do is that you need to cut down. So you make the list short, but when you are asked what is short list, you are not going to tell the examiner. That means that if the list is long, you are making it short. No. So you cut down the pool that had applied for the job. How are you going to do it? You see, you ask them to submit certain documents, which may include their CVs and other relevant documents, certificates. All those documents would have to be reviewed. Now you have asked somebody to bring his or her certificate. When the certificates come, what are you going to do? You have to go. You said you must have your masters in human resource management. You go through to see whether all those who have applied, they have masters. You said they should bring their CV, and there is a way it must be prepared. Have they prepared the CV to that effect? So you review all the documents you ask them to bring. So at the preliminary stage, some of them might not qualify. For example, you might have been told them, for you to apply for this job, you should be between 30 and 35. Somebody might be 40 and a person may decide to apply, hoping that he or she might be called. So you look at all those things and then you select those who have the job requirement as specified in the job description and the job specification. So those who do not qualify at the initial stage, you just put their letters or applications elsewhere. And then those who actually qualify, you now invite them. So if you are shortlisted, when you read certain, they will say that only shortlisted applicants will be invited for interview. So if you are shortlisted, then it means you are fortunate to be invited for interview. Remember, if you are shortlisted, it doesn't mean that you have been chosen for the job. What it means is that you qualify. You have what they said you should have, but you see, somebody have better than you have. So the best one will be selected. So right after that one, then there will be interview where there will be face-to-face talk or conversation with a panel. When you go, you meet them. Then they ask you several questions depending on what they want to elicit from you. When I say elicit from you, they ask you questions and then the response they want. So there may be 4. There may be 3, and then each one may ask you questions on a special area. For example, somebody will be there. All that the person will be asking you is current affairs. Another person will be asking you questions about your knowledge in respect of the job you have applied, and so on and so forth. So during the interview, and you remember we also said, so these secretaries, all potential secretaries will be shortlisted. Then those who qualify at the preliminary stage will be invited for interview. Then certainly this secretarial job, there will certainly be tests. You'll be tested. As a secretary, you should be proficient in the language, in the Queen's language. You are going to write letters for your boss and a whole lot of other things. So how competent are you in respect of the Queen's language? When I say the Queen's language, I hope you understand what it means. Then as a secretary, how well can you use the computer? How well can you use the computer? What are other skills? You'll be tested on all those things. So those who qualify, then you might be asked to go for medical examination. What's the purpose of the medical examination? They want to find out your physical ability to do the work. Do you have certain health problems? They will direct you. You know, anybody can decide to go anywhere, pay money, and get a better one. They will direct you as to where you should go for the medical examination. When you are through with the medical examination, you bring it. Then the best 5. Now remember, they have given you questions, and they said they want to employ 5 competent secretaries. So when you are writing this one, you are not just going to write it raw. You'll be using that job, which is secretary, to explain all these things. So the best 5 candidates out of the number that was invited for the interview will be selected, and then appointment letters would be written and then be dispatched. You have done law of contract. You know that when you apply for a job, you have made an offer. Then the only way the organization is going to accept your offer is to give you appointment letter. So when you receive your appointment letter, the date on which you are supposed to report for work will be stated clearly, and other conditions, other terms will be stated. Then on that day you come, they organize orientation for you. The orientation is not anything new for you. You know that when you even came to school for the first time, before you even started classes, there was orientation. Why? Because you have come to a new environment. Some of you came and you were crying. Some of you, for the first time, you were leaving your parents. So you needed to be oriented so that you'll be able to adjust in your new environment. So orientation will be organized for the new employees. And then you may also have what we call placement. Placement. That may also be part of it, where you will put on your job. So that is what the personnel manager, now the human resource manager, is doing. Now we look at test here. Test. Now, when you are writing test, you see, there are certain things they want to measure. If you are writing test, if they say you are going to write, what type of test are you going to write? Why at times even objective, they ask students about which type of test is blah 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 when there is so so and so. So you must know all these tests so that whether in objectives or whatever it is, you'll be able to identify the type of test. The first one is aptitude test. I didn't say attitude, it's aptitude. Aptitude test. Video man, are they seeing it? Aptitude test. Aptitude test. And you check the spelling very well. What is it? Okay. Now, you see, at times, people ask you, what do you want to do in future? So about your career. There's I want to be a doctor. I want to be this. I want to be that. You see, the best thing to do is that somebody or your parents, your teachers, or other stakeholders may know your career when they ask you certain questions. Now, you may be asked certain questions, and your answers to those questions, you may be given series of questions, and your answers to those questions will enable somebody to know certain potentials that you have in you, and that with training, you'll be able to do certain things. So you are asked questions, and your response to the questions will let them know whether you become an accountant, a doctor, or whoever the person or career you may want to engage yourself in. And that is all that aptitude test is about. It measures. So all these tests, they measure something. So if you explain this, and all that you have to do, for example, aptitude test measures, intelligence test measures, achievement test measures. So they are so when they set the questions, and it's aptitude test. The questions will be there. They know the kind of questions they want to ask. Your responses to those questions, they'll be able to measure that this person has these potentials. And it's not about what you already have. Aptitude test doesn't measure what you already have. No. It measures your potential. Latent. When you say something is latent, it means it is hiding. It is hiding. I remember those days when I was teaching in 1993, when I was teaching in a private school elsewhere. We were going to have, there was inter-school athletics competition. There was one girl, a teacher just looked at that girl and said that you'll be able to run, you'll be able to go 400 meters. The girl hadn't done that before. Initially she was running away. The teacher said you will run on that same day. So the teacher has talked, who are you a student? So she has to change and then join them. Lo and behold, the girl was first in 400 meters. Why? Because the teacher saw certain potentials. She looked at probably the structure, she looked at probably the way the girl, and a whole lot of other things. And then she said, this girl is a potential 400 meters runner. That is what the aptitude test measures. It measures your latent potential or your potential. And then they will know that this person, the person's responses to these persons, if you train the person will be able to do this and that and that and that. So that is why I said aptitude test measures the person's capacity or latent ability. So it measures your capacity, what you can do, and your latent ability to learn a job if you are giving training. So that is the aptitude test. The next one is intelligence test. This one nobody should even tell you what it is going to measure. It certainly measures your IQ, your intelligence quotient. How intelligent are you? How are you able to understand issues? How are you able to comprehend your reasoning ability? That is what the intelligence test will measure. So I said it measures capacity, comprehension, reasoning, etc. And they will set the questions in such a way that the way you answer the question will let them know how intelligent you are. Then we also have achievement test. The name tells you what it is. Achievement. Achievement test. So what have you accomplished? So it talks about your accomplishment. And you claim you can do certain things. Okay, you are tested to find out whether you can actually do those things. That will be the achievement test. Now you have applied for the job. So what is your knowledge in respect of the job you have applied for? So there will be job knowledge test, and you know what it is going to measure. For example, you said you are an accountant, you have done accounting, you are a chartered accountant. You may be asked to prepare financial statement. That will be your job knowledge test. Then you also have situational test, very simple. You know, you have been doing case study, situational test. Now you see, at times when you even go for positions in school, probably dining hall prefect, when you go there, the vetting committee can ask you, assuming one evening, supper, you go for your food, or you go to dining hall, or you go for supper, and then instead of serving 40 bowls, you went and you had 38 bowls, but all the students came. What are you going to do? That is a situational test. It's a case study. It is giving you real life situation and your ability to answer such questions will enable them to know how well you will be able to perform when you are given the job. So there can also be situational tests. You'll be given a scenario and you'll be asked to solve certain pertinent problems. So that is that. The next one is interest test, your interest. So certainly to be looking at your likes and your dislikes in respect of the job you have applied for. You maybe look at your hobbies and how they are related to the job, your recreations and how they are related to the job. So there may be interest tests. Then there may also be personality tests, your personality. The whole you, your emotions will be tested, the way your other characteristics will be tested to know the kind of person you are. Your leadership skills, your leadership abilities, all those things may be tested. Your emotions, just as I've told you, may be tested. That will be the personality test. Are you introvert or extrovert or what have you? That one too may be tested. Your level of confidence. All these things, they come under the personality test. How are you able to take decisions? Then your creativity. How patient are you? All those things may be tested. So these are types of selection tests. Now, when we are talking about this one, we also look at orientation. What is orientation? I've already explained to you at the preliminary stage. So we know what this orientation is. And you know it is meant for new employees. So I said orientation, that is the introduction of the new employees to, number one, his or her work unit, number two, his job, and number three, to other colleagues. So when you go to any organization, you'll be introduced to your work unit, you'll be introduced to your job, you'll be introduced to other colleagues. You'll be told certain things, the organization's culture, a whole lot of other things. Even the society where you find yourself, that community, you'll be given orientation. You'll be told about the things you are not supposed to do, the things you do and they can easily bring you trouble. You'll be told that as for this town, if you want to stay here peacefully, please don't do A, B, C, D. So you'll be given orientation to enable you adjust to your new environment. The orientation will have levels. They will orient you in respect of the company, your department, and then your job. And I've also told you to be introduced to your other colleagues. You know your boss, whom you are going to report to. Know that you are also going to supervise. The orientation will bring all those things out. Then I said the orientation prepares the new employees to be able to cope with the work environment so that you'll be able to adjust easily. So that is what orientation is all about. Others also call it induction. What are the objectives or the reasons for orientation? Very simple. I've already told you the first one. When you go to a place, you want to find out whether you are welcome to the place. So orientation is meant to make you feel welcome and secure. So when you come to school, even school and they organize orientation for you, they want you to know that even though you have left your parents and you have come to a new environment, you are welcome here. And that you feel secure that nobody is going to harm you here. So orientation for new employees is to make them feel that they are welcome the organization, and then they are secure. Number two, very simple, what I've already told you, is about adjustment. So orientation is meant to help the new employee to adjust to the work environment. Remember, you have come to a new, even if you have worked somewhere, where you find yourself now is a new environment. And adjustment is not that easy. But through orientation, you'll be able to adjust to your new environment. Then, the next one, very simple, straightforward, is that when you during the orientation, you'll be inspired, you'll be motivated. The employee will be inspired, or the employee will be motivated to work towards excellence. You'll be told, you'll be advised, you'll be encouraged, you'll be motivated to work towards excellence. That's why when you came to school, you were told that the environment you find yourself, the school is a good school, and that if you work hard, you get whatever you want to get. So that is for the third one. The next one, very simple, is that to help the employees become a member of a team. That is why you'll be introduced to other colleagues. You are not going to work in isolation. You are not going to work alone. You are going to work with others. So the orientation will help you to become a member of a team. So that is for that one. Then the last one is here is that orientation is meant to clarify jobs. You'll be told your duties, your responsibilities, the tasks involved, and a whole lot of other things about your job. So that is what I have for you this evening. We have looked at a question. We are supposed to look at the selection procedure that a human resource manager would go through in getting 5 competent secretaries. Then we looked at tests, the types of tests that we have. We have talked about the fact that all those types of tests will be measuring something. It doesn't mean that at a sit or at a time, all these tests will may be mono. It may be only aptitude tests. It depends on what the organization wants. It may be the combination of aptitude tests and others. It may be job learning tests and so on and so forth. Then you also look at orientation, the meaning of orientation, and then the objective or the purpose for organizing orientation. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's or this evening's lesson. When we meet another time, we'll be looking at interview. We know what interviews are, and then we look at the importance of interviews. All that you need to do is to read your materials so that you get better understanding of what we have done. Till we meet again another time, as I've indicated, you need to read on interview, and then the importance of interview. Then we'll also be looking at work hazard. We'll be looking at work hazard in our next week. So we look at interview together with work hazard. So you should also read on work hazard, health hazard, safety hazards, and then other things. To meet again another time, it's bye-bye for now.